There is one more thing. The iconic line repeated yet again on the day Apple revealed the iPhone 8, and deep down I knew something big was coming. Apple revealing not one but two iPhones at a single event was the peak of marketing at the time, bringing to us the all-new iPhone X. Amidst all the hype, there was one question that shot through my mind at the time. Where did iPhone 9 go? Join me as I investigate Apple's history of why they decided to skip the iPhone 9. Let me dispel a misconception. Before we head in, let me clear a common misconception. Apple did not skip the iPhone 9 due to superstition. If that were the case, then they wouldn't have released the iPhone 13 either, which has been selling like hotcakes. But let's be honest, 9 isn't such an attractive number to begin with. But was that why Apple skipped it? Everything that Apple has ever done has significantly impacted its sales, and it'd be hard to believe if that wasn't the case here as well. So I spent the last few days studying how Apple has maintained its growth as a company and the strategies that have guided every step they've taken so that I could put out this video for you. A bit of history first. Let me take you to 2005, when Steve Jobs revealed the first iPod Nano from his jeans pocket, a sleek device that slips right into our mini pockets.
Now we know, because this is the new iPod Nano.
Those tiny pockets weren't of much use until that point, but Steve Jobs, the legend, turned them into excellent marketing material. Fast forward to 2007, when the first iPhone was revealed. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it?
As repeated by Steve Jobs, was the beginning of the era of iPhones, or smartphones for that matter. Apple is known for breaking the traditional norms from the beginning, and if we take a look at the iPhones to date, they have consistently named their iPhones numerically up until iPhone X was revealed. But here's the twist. Apple wanted us to call it the iPhone X instead of X. If that was the case, why did they name it X? I asked the same question when they named their digital media player Apple TV, when it was basically just another digital media player. Apple wanted their customers to feel as if they were purchasing an individual product that sounded much cooler and not just something that helped us connect to our TV. And it's not just the Apple TV. In fact, every one of their products was named smartly to give it the branded touch, like the Apple Pencil, the iPod, the iMac, and lastly the MacBook series, better known as just Macs. When these were first released, I was confused about how a computer had anything to do with a Mac, which until then conjured an image of a burger in my mind, but no more after Apple showed up. And as much as it confused me, it intrigued me further into wanting to get that product that stood out from the rest. And that's precisely what they did with the iPhone X. Apple made a very bold move to show the world that it was bringing an unusual phone. Why did they skip the iPhone 9? Now that you understand why Apple names their products a bit differently, it makes it easier for me to explain why they skipped the number 9. 2017 will remain a significant year for Apple for two reasons. First off, it was the 10-year anniversary of the first iPhone launch. I hope you're getting where I'm going with this. Secondly, the iPhone X was a massive upgrade from the previous version and beat all other manufacturers, not just in terms of technology, but in terms of pricing as well. Of course, nothing new from Apple, but it was the first time that an iPhone was priced at $1,000 at release. The iPhone X's release bypassing the expected iPhone 9 was a bold statement. It was a statement that this new iPhone wasn't just your routine update coming around each year, but a significant upgrade to the best tech you could get your hands on at the time. It was up to Apple to ensure that people understood that the 2017 iPhone's release was significant. That is why they jumped right over the expected iPhone 9 and even went the extra mile to use a Roman numeral for their product, setting it aside from the standard iPhones because they would be mispronounced as X instead of the number 10. And there was an additional layer of confusion on top of this, because Apple had always released their iPhones in numerical order, from the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 7 and iPhone 8, and out of nowhere an iPhone model came with a letter rather than a number. I called it iPhone X right off the bat, and that's how Apple succeeded in clearly putting it out there that the new iPhone was nothing like its previous versions. Be it X or 10, it symbolizes the 10-year anniversary of the iPhone, and they boldly stated that it was a significant upgrade. Would it have been half as successful if the new iPhone model had been named the iPhone 9 instead of X? And there you have it. That's the brilliance of marketing, and that's how Apple made people worldwide believe they were getting something really good. As I started to dig deeper into this, I found that most people still expected Apple to bring in the iPhone 9, even after the release of the iPhone 10 and 11. The news was out in the open that a new budget iPhone that was supposed to be released in 2020 might be that missing model. While some people thought it was going to be the new iPhone SE, some still had their hopes that it would be called the iPhone 9. There were a fair few reasons why people thought it could be named the next iPhone SE, because it was around the same price point as the original SE model of 2016 at $400, and that's precisely what Apple released. Many people were surprised that iPhone named it iPhone SE instead of filling the gap they had left out in the iPhone series by directly jumping to iPhone 10. Well, it was an excellent opportunity for Apple to even the gap, right? But if you've listened closely till now, you'd have understood why Apple didn't go after the iPhone 9. Apple doesn't confine its product naming to logical reasoning or the norm, but instead they give significance to products that bring more value to the table and effectively market them because, in the end, that's what sets their products apart from the crowd. Now imagine if Apple actually named their 2020 budget phone iPhone 9 to fill the gap created 3 years back. It directly suggests that the model was released between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 9, which threw the iPhone 9 3 years back, making it look old and unattractive to its customers. Not to mention, Apple names their premium phones with numbers, whereas a $400 budget phone cannot be considered premium. Naming the new budget iPhone as iPhone 9 would have set the wrong expectation for the product and dampened the marketing effect. Instead, the SE appeals to a completely different market than the iPhone 10, 11, or 12 that came out afterward. Now, if you're someone like me who is still not over the fact that they skipped the iPhone 9, I hate to break it to you, but the number 9 was not the only number that Apple skipped. Right after the original iPhone, there were the iPhone 3G and the 3GS. To make it even worse, the 3G name was based on the 3G network that the phone operated on, and not the actual number 3. And just because Apple couldn't fill in the iPhone 2, it didn't ever go back to make an iPhone 2 through all these years. And technically, Apple only started numerically naming their phones from iPhone 4 onwards. In the end, they're just numbers. And Apple sure does know how to market those, and they'll keep going against the grain if they see marketing benefit in naming a specific iPhone model differently. But what do you think about this entire iPhone 9 debate? And what do you think was the best marketing trick Apple has pulled off over the years? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, you might want to watch the next one that is on the screen right now. Until next time.